Hello, everyone. Welcome back to This is Friday Night Spiritual Insights with Michael Mirdad. I appreciate you joining us. Today, we're going to talk about relationships, but moving from partners to friends. And it's a fairly simple, short topic because it can rarely be done. And that's it. Thank you. Bye. No. But it's true. It's not easy to pull it off, to go from partners to friendships. Generally, the relationship is ending because of one of a couple things. Usually, someone's done something too often or too large of an issue, too hurtful to let us be friends, or they won't do something we want, whether it's being kind or going out on dates or whatever it happens to be. Wanting to have more communication. So they get worn down relationships. But can we go from partner to friendship? Very rarely. It's usually the opposite. Is getting in a relationship from friends to partners is usually far easier than the other way around. So, it's kind of a bummer because, people get hurt feelings and so on. And it's kind of like saying it's unforgivable. So I don't want to be friends. There's too much water under the bridge. There's, if you couldn't be nice to me as partners, why would I want to be friends? I mean, in all practicality. Or if you've done something to hurt me, you cheated on me, you abused my children, why would I want to be friends? And I want to say, first and foremost, that's totally fine. Far more often than not, that's the right decision, to take a break, get clean and clear so you can think and feel clearly and get more in touch with yourself. I would say, though, when shifting from partners to friendships or partners out of partnership, whether you try for friendship or nothing, we still need to do our best to refuse to hate the person, learn our own lessons and responsibilities from the experience, and do your best to affirm that whoever it is, whatever they did, somewhere in them, no matter how much garbage and darkness is layered around them, deep in the core, there's a little seed of perfect light. And somehow pray that they find that light. If you can do those three things, refuse to hate, learn what you can and be responsible, and affirm their light, guys, that's as much as really can be expected from heaven or earth towards that person. You've done all you can do. So that's the spiritual essential when trying to transition out of relationship, partnership. You can even, this talk could be applied to segueing from parents. Like some of us segue from our parents being our parents, but instead of partner to friends, you got to go from parents to humans. They're just human beings. I'll be nice to them like I would any human being. I'll wish them well like I would any human being. No longer see this person as a partner, that one as a parent. It's too confusing because of the things they've done or said or wouldn't do. So it's all the same, guys. Siblings, business partners. No, I'm thinking we're going to have to just call it a day, and that's okay. Very clear, very clean of you to do that. Just do your best to not do it with hatred or animosity. The hurts and resentments involved with ending any kind of relationship, but including, a partnership, are usually just too much for mere mortals to handle. So it can't be done by egos, but it can be done by spirits. We're going to go from partner to friend. My ego cannot do that. Your ego cannot do that. And if we try, it's just going to become sabotaged anyway. So, because people just lie to themselves. I want to seem spiritual, so I'm going to remain their friend. I want to look good to the kids. I want the kids not to think that we're having a hard time, good intentions. But if they're lies, they're going to get blown up. They're going to get sabotaged. And rightfully so, because these things get exposed for us to see them more clearly. So, it takes souls that are committed to rising above the history of what happened, to rise above the hurt emotions between the people involved, whomever they might be. And instead, focusing on forgiveness and healing. But again, I'm going to focus on forgiveness and healing, but you're just a human. You're not my parent. You're just a person. You're not my partner. Now, can we come back a little bit towards a little bit of friendship? And some exes have done that successfully. They move on, they get new partners, and everything's kind of amicable and decent, and it can happen, of course. I don't believe it can happen unless there's some healing and some honesty and communication. If you're not honest, your communication's going to get all corrupted. If you're honest but you don't communicate, nothing gets cleared up and known. So there's got to be the forgiveness, the healing, the spirituality component, and honesty. Instead of, oh, everything's fine. You've never hurt me at all. I never hurt you at all. No, if I did, tell me, and I would be willing to apologize and make amends how I can, where I can. And if you have done so and you want to apologize and make amends, please, I'm open. Don't ask for that if you're not open to hearing it. They might say, well, I want to tell you that you thought I cheated once. Well, it was actually 15 times. And, if you don't want to hear that that's a possibility, please don't go there. You're just going to really hurt yourself and tempt yourself to hate them more. I remember one student of mine did that where they were doing their step work in AA, and there they were writing in their step work. This is their private journal. They're doing their step work, and they were fessing up to some stuff. Their ex, by accident, read the journal. It wasn't their ex yet, but they were, trying to keep things working out. Read the journal and kicked them out that day. Done. Enraged at the things that they read about this person. So it's not an easy course. You're only supposed to be apologizing and making amends if it doesn't cause more harm, and sometimes it will cause more harm. But you can use that as an excuse to not fess up to things you really should, going, well, I was just concerned for them. I just didn't want to cause more harm by letting them know how totally messed up I am. No, you got to find a way to come out when you can. It just, you have to just watch your intentions. And when in doubt, talk to your sponsor if you're in the program. They should be able to help you navigate that. But I have to say this, if you are going to come out and say, look, I ask my ex, my whatever, to be friends or to renegotiate the terms of our relationship of any kind, you better not get yourself attached to the outcome. They might say no and you get all mad. Be careful. In all the things I'm saying about this talk, again, be careful and be unattached to the outcomes. You might be like, okay, I'm going to be the greater person here. I'm going to take the higher road. I'm going to offer friendship. I don't really want to, but part of me knows it's the right thing. Gee, I'm going to just be spiritual. And then you go, I decided I'm willing to be friends. And they say, well, only if you do this, if you won't do this, and you're going to go crazy mad, just angry. How dare they? Well, then don't ask. If you're going to put conditions on it, on any form of healing and forgiveness, don't bother. Just go quiet, become stealthy, quiet, go inside and do some more healing work and see if there's another way down the road that you can bring this up. Because you're just setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up to get hurt again, and you're setting yourself up again and them up to judge them again for missing the mark, so very, very dangerous. So I wouldn't let other people know exactly, like, God, I hope if I do have some agendas, don't let them see that, because they're just going to turn it on you. And what they'll do sometimes is, well, now that I see that you're willing to work on this, it really hurt me that you wanted to end this. But I guess if you want to be friends, fine. And that's when they'll start baiting you with favors. Well, but will you do this? And will you do that? And, whatever, can you give me a little more money in the settlement, or can you do, and you're going to be tempted, but don't. Just, everything's got to be business in a sense, meaning clean and clear. You don't want to get yourself in the bargaining kind of routine that people often do. So keep in mind, as I'm sharing and shared already, and also towards a closing, it's easier to get in than to get out from certain titles of relationships. But if you're going to, spiritually clear and got to be honest about what you want and don't want. When I say be honest, there might be a piece here and there that you have to keep close to your your chest and not blurt them out if it's going to tempt them to use them against you, or tempt you to want to, be more bargaining than you should be. And then communicate very clearly. Here's what I'm open to doing. Look, I'm sorry that things didn't work out. Maybe we should take a break and check in and see if there's any kind of a, maybe not close friends, but maybe acquaintances, or in some cases, close friends. I would say that that if any of my former partners or relations had an issue, no matter how things ended, if they called me and said, I need you to be objective and give me some clear advice, there's not even a question in my mind that I'd be able to go right to it. If they said, can I call you and be friends now? Not a question in my mind that I would do that. I don't carry the stuff, not because there wasn't a trigger, an issue, a wound, a jab, but I have, done work, and I also understand these things. So you want to get to that place of not being like so vulnerable to wounds that you won't ever heal ever again. You make vows to the universe. I will never like that person. You don't need all that. Just say to yourself, on some level, I know the Christ in me loves the Christ in them. The divine in me loves the divine in them. I know that that's enough. As far as today's behavior, will I move in with them again? No. So that's back to honesty, boundaries on that one step where I'm saying, and then communication. Got to communicate clearly what you're willing to do and not do. On that note, perhaps the last thing I'm going to share here is when I work with couples, and I've done for, decades and decades, right? But when I work with couples, probably the most consistent issue that I see that involves a lack of communication. So I'm saying it's not the most persistent issue I see in relations, but the most persistent one that involves lack of communication is this one. They come in, they're talking, we have issues, we don't know what they are. We have issues, we do know what they are, whatever they have to say. But there's something not quite right. I don't look for what they're doing, what they're saying, because they might already say they know what that is. I look for this. Where are you in your relationship? Because there's a ladder, as it were. Are you acquaintances? Are you friends? Are you dating? Has the dating become monogamous yet? Are you now boyfriend, girlfriend, or partners? Are you live-ins? Are you life mates? Boom, 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 up the list. I would say to you, I swear, at least 9, if not 9 point something out of 10 times, they're on this a different level and never discussed it. So this isn't exclusively related to relationships that are going to go from partners to friends. It's not exclusively, but it applies, because what happens is the hurts when one partner, I won't say which gender is usually which, but it's almost always one gender thinks we're here, the other one thinks we're here. But we can leave gender out now. One partner almost always thinks they're higher in their commitment than the other. So where are you guys at? Are you here, here? And you get one that'll say, oh, well, yeah, we're dating. And then you get the look. Watch the other person. There's the, excuse me? What do you mean we're dating? What? And then the shocked look. Well, I mean, what? Aren't we? What do you mean dating? I stay at your house every weekend. My mother thinks we're getting married. And I told her, yes, we're probably, and marriage, I never, you should, guys, oh my God. It's just funny and tragic, sad at the same time. Because they didn't communicate. So now, this is what I said when I started. It's easier to get in from friends to partners than the other way. Because now that this person thinks we're partners, or one of the fun ones is, are you guys monogamous? Yes, no. Now we sit there, just don't say anything, because I think it's funny and tragic too. But how did you guys not have that conversation? Just like start the relationships off with, here's where I'm at. I'm not monogamous yet with you. We're dating, whatever. Start off, get the fundamentals done. And we are not going to be monogamous until you hear those words from my mouth. So don't ever assume. The assuming, man, I thought we were here. But did we ever say we were there? No. And then there's a rule that I made up a long time ago when dealing with people, with dealing with abuse. Whoever wants the least wins. Now that's my wording for it, but technically we've heard it in different ways. Meaning, if these two people go on a date, this one wants to kiss, this one doesn't. The one that wants the least wins. There's no kissing. This one wants to have sex, this one doesn't. There's no sex. Whoever wants the least wins. It's a great statement. It's in a flat kind of just to direct kind of let's get to it kind of statement. And it's beautiful. It's then be patient. If you don't want this being the least wins and you don't like that and you can't take it down a notch, this isn't right for you. Communicate, be honest and communicate your situation. So I end up having to ask such a couple, okay, that leaves us with a perplexing situation. And so here's where we're at. Are you ready to come up? Or if not, can you come down? Can you come up is almost always no, I'm not ready. I would say at least 8 or 9 out of 10 times they can't jump up. Can you come down a notch? At least 80% of the time, no. Usually when they realize this is this, they're angry and hurt, and it'll come to an end. Because it's easier to go in to partnership than back off. Because I have agendas, I have assumptions, I have thoughts, I have dreams, and I thought you were them. All of that gets hurt. You get your ego bruised, you get your heart kind of hurt, and so on. And oh God, I just invested 5 years in this relationship. How could you tell me it's not solid? I understand all that. You're supposed to refuse to hate them and learn what you need to learn and affirm the light. But what's the one in the middle? What do you need to learn? Well, if I were in that situation, I'd go, in what way did I not communicate? Where I was not honest and where I was not communicating that I was here. And even if this person's very clear, wait a minute, what do you mean that you thought I was here? Remember, I had a sidewalk poured last month. And in my sidewalk, people put their names. I didn't. I put, and she and I are not, he and I are not, we are not committed. We're here. Look, it's scratched into cement. Doesn't matter. But I thought that, the day after we did that, when you scratched it and etched it in stone, oh, you bought me lunch. You got me flowers. We agreed on going on a cruise. One or the other of the two people are going to say that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it came across that way. You know why it came across that way? Because that's how much I dig you. That's how much I really do like, love, care, whatever for you. Because I feel like we're almost there, but I never said we are, and we are not until we decide it and communicate it. Angry, gone, tantrum. This person has to breathe and practice this. This person who got angry at some point also has to come back to ground zero and heal. It's got to come always back to healing. Even if you think it's about getting your way with a person, it isn't. It's about healing when you don't get your way. So in these cases, rarely can they come up, rarely can they come down. But the fair one out of the two is you can't force a person to be more than they are. You can't force them to have sex when they're not ready. You can't force them to marry you when they're not ready. It's not right. Well, then, is it fair that they should be asked to come down? Yes. I know it sounds unfair. If they can't come up, why should you come down? I know. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? So I get it. It sounds unfair, but it isn't. And the reason it's not unfair is because if I'm a good person and have a big heart and soul, it's not going to kill me to back off a little and say, you know what? This was hopes and expectations, not reality. So it's okay. Let me take it down, get past my little ego bruising. Let me take it down and say, all right, And I've seen this, 1 or 2 out of 10 times. All right, I think I can take it down a notch and wrap my mind differently around this. Now, if it's, I thought we were monogamous and we're not, and you're sleeping around and I'm not into that, then okay, maybe I'll end it. But if it's more like the level of, I thought we were committed partners and not dating, I thought we had moved past dating. Okay, let me take it down a notch. Here's what I would suggest. Take it down a notch. Now we're dating. And I would ask this person as the counselor, or suggest that they talked about it. Would you be willing to consider stepping up with them, say in 6 months, if things are still working out? If they say absolutely not, you'd have a person that never wants to go there, consider ending it if that's where you want to go. If they say, yeah, that's beautiful because that's fair, you're going to be patient and come down a notch. I'm going to be patient and see if I can rise with you with communication and integrities and responsibilities and so forth, and see if we can bring it up together. That's what I would do. That's my take on relationships and growing from partners to friends. You think it's a losing, but it's really growing from partners, not just going from partners to friends, but growing. If you can pull that off, I mean, it's incredible. But please do not try to do it if it's not right timing. Do not think I told you that to be a spiritual person, you got to make yourself be friends with somebody who's dangerous or hurtful. No, break away, get it right inside your own self, your own heart, and your own soul with them, towards them. But you don't have to let them know, I'm really finding some love for that person, because some people will go, really? So now I can take advantage of you again. So sometimes you have to keep some of these things close to your heart. You have to be honest where and when you can, and make amends where and when you can, but not if it'll cause yourself or others harm. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. I greatly appreciate, your openness to learn, your interest to learn, and remember, these are in playlists. So if you like this talk on relations, you can actually go to my playlist and watch basically like everything on relationships. Well, at least the things I've recorded on YouTube, so that you're teaching yourself and becoming better teachers. You could take that material, teach your kids, take that material, work with your partners. But either way, you're integrating it into your life. That's the right thing to do, man. Without integrating this material or any growth or lessons or material, you're wasting your life, and you'll be back to repeat it. Okay? God bless you all. We'll see you soon. Join us where and when you can. And we don't charge for these programs, but any of you that can make donations, we really appreciate it. That's how we work, because most everything we do is free of charge. All right? God bless you. Bye-bye.